Well, good evening, folks. Hope everything's okay. Hope you can hear me okay. We're back for Friday night 9-ball here in Virtual Pool 4. And, well, I don't think we'll get a full field in tonight. Let's have a look and get this damn thing to work. Hang on a minute. At last count we had 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, we've got 10 in, so there's going to be buys in the first round. Well, with that, there has been a service announcement or a server announcement. Maintenance is going to be on Saturday at 12 noon UK time, which would be 7 AM East Coast time and 4 AM Pacific time. So obviously Steve's doing this in the middle of the night US time, and the server will be down for a couple of hours at least, and therefore that means that Virtual Pool 4 will be down. So don't send any messages to me on Facebook asking is there a problem joining the lobby, because you've been told. Good evening, Mark. I think you're the only one here. Well, the rooms will be up. Let's see who we should go in and watch first. Well, we've got Sylvia against Spectre Dawn. Let's see if Sylvia can use her handicap, and also we're going to see the new table logo, or the new table sponsor, once I change the cloth colour. Where the hell am I? I'm the wrong one, that's what I'm, right, blue. You notice how the blue looks dirty blue in here because of the different lighting. So, race to 7 in Friday night 9-ball is a handicap tournament. It's handicapped by money balls. So if you look at the top of the HUD, we've got Sylvia, player 1. She's getting a 6 ball as her extra money ball. So that basically means if she can get to the 6 ball, pot it legally at any time during the rack, she will win the rack. She's well capable of potting balls. I think it's just down to attention span as to whether she's going to mix it with Spectre Dawn. But she's well capable of making use of that 6 ball, no doubt about that. We haven't even had a chance to look at the bracket, but safe to say there's a few people waiting on results of these first round matches coming through, so we may as well stick with this one. Well, I've got BT coming on March the 18th. My contract with BT has been up for a few weeks, and I am paying, I think it's 47 I'm paying a month, which is for my phone, my calls and everything, and my internet. And BT are telling me in an email that the prices are going up in March. And so I went on to Virgin's website, and with an 18-month contract I can get exactly the same as I'm getting just now for £27 odd. Then it goes up to 51, and that would be like I think it's a 70. Where I am, it's like 70 megabytes or something, between 70 and 80 megabytes connection. That's the logo for the billiard channel, which I believe you can subscribe to on Roku, whatever the hell that is. I think that's a plug-in thing for your television. Although having said that, I had a look at their Facebook webpage, and there's not an awful lot of activity on it. It has to be said. But anyway, that's what Steve was working on during the week. This server maintenance thing that we've got going on, I don't know what that's a lead up to. It might be a roundabout way of saying in preparation for some sort of rumoured big update that we're supposed to be getting, but we've got no information from the person that matters. Nothing's being posted anywhere to my knowledge. So we just have to be patient and wait and see what happens. So anyway, Spectre Dawn is off and running. Now let me check my little doodle. There we go. And check that, check the lines are working okay. So Spectre Dawn, going to be 2-0 up, and Sylvia really needs to take chances when she gets them, because she can get to a 6-ball. Got to focus. And Spectre Dawn has potted a ball in the break. 2 balls gone. An awkward cut in the 1. And then, of course, the biggest problem with this shot is the fact that he can't get on the 3-ball. 3 balls hidden behind the 9, so probably easier to play a safety. Good evening, Simon. Well, it's only you two that's in. Anybody else that's in ain't saying anything. I'm not saying hello. Now, has he nudged that 3 far enough? No, he hasn't. But he can play a decent safety if he can. Is he trying to bank this? Well, I was thinking that because the angle's not there to bank it. But he can certainly lock the cue ball up, and that's what he's done. So, Sylvia in trouble, and she's going to have to judge the angle. The angle's there to kick this 3-ball. The problem is it's extremely tight past the 7. It's very tight past the 7, but you can get to the rail and still clip that 3, but you're probably just going to leave it over the pocket if you play it up and down. Yeah, there's not much room to manoeuvre. And she's trying to pick a line off 2 rails from that side. That looks a bit of a shallow angle to be able to do it. And that's going to be side rail, bottom rail. Well, she's trying to get it direct. And, well, that's just given ball in hand to Spectre Dawn. Now, can you hear those beeps? That's because I'm hitting my control button, and my control buttons are configured for that voice mod thing. Yeah, one of the control buttons activates it, another one deactivates it. Well, Spectre Dawn trying to get up for the 6-ball. The mistake has been made. Now, Sylvia, you've got ball in hand. You've got a wide open space. Oh, I thought he had ball in hand. What was I thinking about? He just missed it. He didn't bloody foul. Well, she's run into the 9. And she can't get to the potting angle on that 6. I was thinking he was going to scratch there. She's trying to spin and make the angle, and that's so difficult to do. So, it's not looking good early on here for Sylvia, but it can change very quickly if she gets a good chance. But she's now at the stage where she has to simply take them if she's going to stay in the match. Yeah, what was I saying about BT? Yeah, so I phoned him. I got on the phone to him today, and I said to the guy, and I said, look, the way I see it, you're offering me another 24-month contract to keep it the same price at 47 quid, and that way it would prevent it going up come March, because my email come through saying it would confirm it's going up by a couple of quid a month according to inflation, so it would end up being like £50 a month. And so I said to the guy, I said, look, the other email that they sent through about the offers available for me were for like a 900 meg and all that carry on at stupid prices. But the next level up from me for me is like 108 megabytes, which guarantees you 100 with this new Halo thing that they do. You know, if you don't get 100, and you'd be able to get an engineer and all of this stuff. It's working out at £51 a month anyway. So I said to the guy, I said, look, if I go to Virgin right now, I can get 18 months at £27 for the same speed I'm getting just now. And then he started going on about the technical difference between Virgin's router and BT's router and all that. I says, listen, pal, see before you start explaining all that stuff. I worked in sales for nearly 20 years, so I know all the part of the issues. So let's cut to the chase. I'm looking for a deal, and I think the deal I should get should be the next step up for at least the same price as I'm paying just now, considering what I can get if I go elsewhere. So he said, hang on a minute, blah, 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 blah. And to cut a long story short, I'm getting the next level up in BT for £2 less than what I'm paying just now, plus all my phone call stuff, which I think is a pretty good deal. So the guy's come out to fit a new router and fit a new cable. I says, it surely doesn't need new cabling, but anyway, the guy's come out on the 18th of March, so I'll be getting faster download speeds, hopefully. Well, Sylvia's off the mark. That's the most important thing. And now she can lock up Spectre Dawn good and proper here. A nice little stun shot. Get it tight onto that port. And that's not tight enough. Should have used that angle better there to try and get that tight into that 4-volt. Because Spectre Dawn's got plenty of room to get the hit on this 3, but there won't be enough power in this to bank this 3. So he's just hitting and hoping, and that'll do it. I've got to miss the 9 ball on the way back across, but I don't think she can. She may well be trying to thin this, and this is asking a bit too much. And well, there's enough of the 3 showing. The 4's wide open. The 6 is fairly close to the rail, but this rack should be over. So, fairly straightforward 8 and 9 by the look of it from where I'm sitting. Looks simple enough. So 4-1 is getting to be a bit of a tall order. Ball in the break. And I think a shot in the 1 as well. 5 ball is gone. 1 goes. 2's wide open. 3's wide open. 4's there. And this rack should be over. Now he doesn't want to meddle on the inside of that 9 ball. He doesn't want to go up the left hand side. He wants to come back the way into the table here. Because things can always go wrong when you do that. So he's done the right thing there. And it's now at the stage where if Sylvia does get a chance of potting a ball, she's got to run out to the 6 ball. Cannot afford any mistakes now. Trailing 5-1, got to get into the match. But she can't do that if she's not at the table. As long as Spectre Dawn keeps getting a ball in the break. This time he hasn't, but Sylvia's been left with nothing. But has to get a good safety though. Now, if she tries to feather the one on the left side, she's going to probably leave it still exposed. And that's a better shot. That's better. And now, even though Spectre Dawn got the hit, Sylvia's got her chance. Again, it's not easy to get good in this too. That 3 ball's in the way. And of course, what do you reckon happens? Sylvia's got herself pretty much hooked in the 2. And she's got no idea where this cue ball's going to end up. Trying to sneak in behind the 7. And of course she's not got to a rail either, I've just noticed. So ball in hand for Spectre Dawn. This isn't going too well. You could have played that better. Cue ball running loose. And he's still on the 3, I think. Yeah, so this rack should be over as well. They're all there. Well, the mild weather is moving in over the weekend, and we'll be back to sort of normal winter weather all next week. I've seen the long range forecast, so that'll get rid of all the frost. That'll get rid of all the snow and ice. Well, Spectre Dawn is making life difficult for himself. This is not easy. And would you believe it, he's got it locked up and behind a 7. Sylvia can't get a break. So she's just had a blast and a hope. And it ain't running for her. And when Spectre Dawn makes a mistake, he gets the luck and he leaves nothing on. That could have been so easily the 2nd rack in the board for Sylvia, and that'll annoy her. It certainly would annoy me. Now, this is one where you can't really stun this. You've got to let this run through off the side rail, end rail, and come out, because if you stun it, you're just going to finish straight. So he's run round, got in pretty good position. Maybe a wee bit too far, but should be able to run this in. Take him within 1. Well, it's a long way back now for Sylvia. And I think that's the 4 ball and the 3 ball have gone in the break. And Spectre Dawn sitting with a shot in the 1. But he may well have to try and drop down the bottom here if he can. I don't know whether he can. He might be able to skip across between the 5 and 6 if he misses the 7. But this is not an easy shot. Let's have a look. No, he's going to hit the 7 ball. And he won't have a shot in the 2. Yeah, he could have tried to play a safety there, but he went all out for it, and he actually ended up getting in the 2. And Sylvia's got the same problem. She caught the 1, but I think she's pretty much giving up the ghost here because the cue balls made no progress anywhere near the 2. And the mistake again from Spectre Dawn. And, well, Sylvia's going to have to... Well, she didn't even line it up to spin it, to try and just push that one in. I think she's given up the ghost here. I think there's more than enough evidence of that. If I have net issue, how many minutes for the tournament? You've got 10 minutes to get back into the room. I think it's a 10-minute timeout they've got. It could be 5 minutes for all I know. I'll be honest with you. It tells you on the tournament page, though, if you have a quick look. So, Sylvia having a blast. Now, what's she going to do with this 6 ball? That's anybody's guess. And it goes, and a second rack in the board. Oh, goodness me. And all of a sudden, Sylvia can break when she gets a chance. She's almost emptied the table. 1, 2, 3, 4 balls to break. Shot in the 3. Now, this is where she wants to slow down here and get her head screwed on because she's still in with a chance here. And that's her chance gone right there with that shot. So, Spectre Dawn is going to go through. Good evening, Larry. And this 9 ball will seal her fate to the 1 loss side. So, Spectre Dawn goes through. And, well, let's have a quick look at the bracket. If we can open up the bracket, that is. Right, well, we can have a look and see. There we see Spectre Dawn is through. Let's just update that. Larry's now waiting in the winner of that match, so needless to say, we're going to get in and watch that one. LS3's in a round 2 match with Wizard Cheat. I think Wizard Cheat's getting 6 and out. We've still got a first round match in progress. DJ Redo is up 6-0 against SD92, and Dirties and Christian are about to play. And Bankster's waiting in the winner of that match. I've just mentioned the DJ Redo match. So, LS3 is 4 racks all with Wizard Cheat. And Larry and Spectre Dawn are about to go at it. So, we'll go in and watch those two. There's one player in at the moment who is Larry. Spectre Dawn's maybe taking a little break. But we'll join it. We'll get in time. Well, I think Sylvia was getting a wee bit pissed off at not getting a run of the ball, and Spectre Dawn getting that run of the ball when he was missing things, you know, locking her up, leaving her no shot. But you've got to keep your head on, because there's always a chance. Well, a comfortable win for DJ Redo. And I don't think there'll be much in the way of a handicap in this match. I think it'll be a scratch match when Spectre Dawn arrives. The curious thing about this billiard channel logo on the table, I don't see. I mean, the fact that Steve's using this as an additional sponsor, I don't see any mention of Virtual Pool 4 on the Billiard Channel's Facebook page. I don't see any sort of mention of an affiliation or a sponsorship or anything. Or if there was, I couldn't find it. So Spectre Dawn has arrived, and I think that's Larry on the far side. And it is a scratch match, no handicap. Larry looks as if he's won the leg to me. And yes, he has. So Larry breaking off. Cue ball is heading straight into the hole. And it could have been kicked out the way there, but everything managed to avoid it. So straight away, Larry's had the misfortune to scratch. Spectre Dawn couldn't get the cue ball in behind the one, so he had to play the combo. And all the balls are on. This 2-ball is awkward though. Got to be careful with this one, because there's balls there to get in the way. And he's just managed to hold it. Now, I think he's got enough angle in this 2 to run into the 5, which will just hold him nicely for the 3. Well, he's decided to draw back. I think he's going to have to run through in this. I don't know whether he's straight enough to be able to stun it. He's going to have to run through, and he's not gone far enough. See how easy it is to get himself out of shape. I thought he would have actually dropped that in rather than finishing where he finished, because this has now got him out of shape. Wrong side of the 5, 6 balls up the table, and he's brushed into the 9, and would you believe it, that's got him perfect, if only a bit straight. So, well, Larry will be hoping to get off the mat fairly quickly, because Spectre Dawn was not tested in his first match. He's expecting to be tested in this one. But Larry, with that scratch in the break, receives due punishment for it. And now Larry has his chance. Dry break. I think that 1 ball will just drop in. He's got to get it really thin, and he doesn't want to let this cue ball squirt away. Got to try and keep it in the table for a shot in the 2, and he's done well there. And now it's a wee bit tricky. He's just got to make sure he comes back far enough, but not too far. And you see, that's just a wee bit too far, and that is what I'm talking about. I'm going to mention it again. When you have to play those little shots, and that little sort of stun below the equator draw, it's very easy to get it wrong, depending on the equipment you're using. I will say no more. What end of the table are we at? We're at the kitchen end. That's a Persian rug, that, by the way. That there. Cost a bloody arm and a leg. And I don't think you'd see many of them in the 60s or 70s. You'd only see carpets like that in a big house like this. Those big handmade Persian rugs, arm and a leg they cost. Well, Larry, that shot that he played just to get into the open space, overhit it again, and it only needed to be half a tip below the equator with a firm stud, and you wouldn't have got as much draw. And Spectre Dawn is going to do exactly what's expected of him, a player of his abilities. He's just going to run the table, given half the chance. And it's 2-0. And Larry's had 2 shots in this match so far. First one was a scratch, and really the other one was trying to get good position. And failed on the positional shot, got himself blocked out. And the result through from the Wizard Cheat LS3 match. LS3 goes through 7-5. And of course also the danger is one of these guys meet somebody like Wizard Cheat who's going to get 5 and out. Big handicap. Meanwhile, Larry is in with his chance. And he's scratched again. Blocked out in the 2, having to jump. And somehow it doesn't seem to be. It's giving you every impression it's not going to be Larry's night, isn't it? Good evening. Welcome. Oh, we've got a lady in the house.
Whoa.
Well, when you say ha ha, what you really mean is if I can find it, you really mean this, don't you? Well, this is the one that will decide the rack. Let's have a look at that 9. That 9 is frozen to the rail. Got to keep this flush. See how it just wants to squirt away? It just wants to go to the far jaw. But it's 3-0 to Spectre Dawn. And Larry's basically playing for a half-decent shot to get him started. Well, he's got it now. And he simply cannot afford to miss. And the problem ball is going to be the 4. It's going to be a wee bit fiddly. And it will all depend on his position on the 3 as to how good he can get a shot in that 4. Because like that there will get you the potting angle. You don't want to be here trying to play cuts, because then the cue ball's going everywhere. Well, it's amazing when that cue ball in this game, when that cue ball is on the rail. And I think the one benefit that that Spectre Dawn had there was the fact he got himself reasonably close to that 9 ball. If you were playing that from further up the table, that'd be a much more difficult shot. You've got to get that connection on the 9 so good, because if you just push it slightly to the rail, it's not going to go in. It's going to go beyond that far shot at the top end of the table, and so easy to miss. If that was any worse position, it wouldn't have been quite a simple a 9 ball. But now Larry has got to just squat past the 9. Is he going to try and stun down? Well, I think he might have been able to squat past the 9 there. But he's going from the left side and he has to get up the table high enough. Doesn't want to underhit this, if anything, overhit it. Well, I would have still preferred to have been up the table another 5 or 6 inches for this shot. But this to get off the mark. And now Larry can at least try and redeem himself from that first break they had by keeping the cue ball on the table this time. And getting a ball and getting a shot if he can. But it isn't going to happen. Yeah, more cut angle certainly does. Yeah. And of course, Spectre Dawn can see the 2. 3 balls wide open, as is the 4. So it's all about getting from the 4 to the 5, because it's going to be easy to get to the 6 and then drop down for that 7 next to the 9 ball. So this rack is over. It's all going to hinge on the 5 ball. And he's left himself way high on the 5. He's in bedhead. Well, tell a lie, he's still to get the 4 yet. I'm getting carried away with myself here. That's just made the 6 slightly more awkward into the middle. That's where he would have probably played it. He might still do the same, but he has to leave an angle so that he can get up for the 7. He might just push this long, this 6 ball, if he drops in behind it. Nope, he's going up. Well, a little draggy draw shot. Avoid the middle pocket, no problem. And he should be home and dry. Seven ball thought about it. It went in. Well, Larry's now same position as Sylvia. He's going to have to work hard to get back into this. It's now 4-1. 2 balls going in. And I don't think Spectre Dawn's got much of a shot in the 1. Well, he could be really ambitious and cut it past the 9. He'll run into the 6. He'll have a long, very thin cut in the 3 if he does that. Well, he's gone all out for it with draw. And that is a good shot. Went for it full-blooded. And now, if he can drop over onto the rail, there's only a small gap, but if he can get in behind that 9. Well, he's nudged to 5, that's fine. What handicap would I get from Spectre? I think I'm 226. And he's what, I think you'll be lucky if you get the 8 ball. Yeah, you probably just get the 8. Well, it's definitely looking like 5-1 to Spectre Dawn. 7 and 8 ball are very adjacent, which makes it all the easier to get good on the 8, just to run up that left-hand side. Well, he's probably going to maybe go right-hand side, go on the short side of the 8. He could end up over by the right middle pocket. He's got a choice as to how he gets there. And he's going up the left. And he's almost there. He should be okay though. Well, Spectre Dawn already is the man to beat. He's got a comfortable lead here. And is Larry going to shake himself down and get him into this match? Well, Spectre Dawn's doing his bit. He's came up dry. Larry's at the table. Every ball is on. There's not a problem. Well, there is a problem. The problem is getting from the 6 to the 7. And the 7 obviously is only going into the middle pocket. If we look at the set with a 9, it's not a combo. So it's getting on the 7 from that 6 ball that's going to decide the rack, if we can get that far. So he can just drop the 3 in, leave himself a nice angle in the 4 to drop the 4 in and drop onto the bottom rail for the 5. And then it's out behind the 9 and the 7 on the left hand side for that 6 into the top corner pocket. And he does not want to be straight on this 6 ball, anything but straight. He needs some sort of angle so he can get up the table to the top end as we look and come back down the right hand side for that 7 ball into the left middle. So this is the crucial shot. Well, 2 crucial shots from 5 to 6. Has to be good in the 6 to come back down for this 7. Well, I don't know whether that's what I would have played. He's looking maybe to come down the left-hand side of this 7 from this. He's got the angle he's got in the 6, and he's got far too much distance between the 2 of them. He's got to drop down the left-hand side unless he's want to run right off 2 rails. Yeah, he's going down the left, and he's almost there. But that brush off the 9 ball will push him down towards the rail here on this side where we're looking. I don't think he's going to get the 9 full. He's going to run up towards the pocket. Unless he tries to do something with the cue ball. And even then he's going to leave a... Yeah, he's trying to draw across. Avoid the scratch. Well, this is tough. But he can still go forward off this. He's going to have to. I don't think it's worth digging in. Well, he's digging in. Good luck with this one. Oh, that's what happens. And again, the control on those draw shots. You know what I'm getting at, guys. Larry overhit that by a country mile again, and it's another chance going begging. And once again, Larry's got his chance. Another dry break from Spectre Dawn. Now the 1 ball, let's have a look. Not a problem. I'm surprised Larry's not paranoid when he's having to play these sort of draw shots. What I call the stunny draw shots. And
I just think it's an unreliability about the equipment. That's what I've always believed. So it needs to get out far enough for this 8 ball, but that's extremely tight, so that ain't going that way. It's going to have to get around the table or draw to the middle pocket in the left-hand side, which is dangerous. Let's see what he does. Well, he's going this side. This is tight. This is not an easy shot. That 9 ball can suddenly expand, and you run the 8 into it. It's a tight one. And then it goes. And Larry's going to get another rack on the board and needs a ball and a shot. He has to get some sort of momentum and needs a ball in the break and he needs a shot to get going. And he ain't go well. The 6 ball's gone. He's got a thin cut in the 1 and he should be on the 2 and he should be out. The table is sitting good. The pockets here will be normal. Tight. I'll pop up in a minute. Narrow. Aye, not tight. Tight is tighter than narrow. You know what I mean? Or what used to be known as tournament pockets. The same as have always been in Friday Night 9 ball. So Larry's accomplished one thing at the start of this rack. He's got a ball in the break and he's got a gilt edge opportunity to get another one on the board. Oh, I haven't the foggiest idea. That was a long while ago. Oh, well, Larry's done it again. He's taken his eye off the ball. I mean, he had nothing to do but roll the 7 in. He stunned it in, stunned it to the jaw, and he's maybe got far too used to those pockets in the straight pool tournament that we've just had, and he's gifted the rack to Spectre Dawn and effectively gifted the match. Well, good luck. And so, Larry, well, he didn't really get going at all, and in the end, some of that was self-inflicted, it has to be said. So, Larry's going to have to really get warmed up on that one loss side. So now, Spectre Dawn is through to play LS3. We've got, there's a close match between Dirties and Christian. Let's go in and have a quick look at that. And this is a scratch match. And I think this was around, what did I say that was? It's a round 2 match. So this could go hill. Dirties has got the chance to finish it off, and he should really be doing that. Just a roll through in the 7 and go far enough so that you're staring down the 9 ball into that right middle. Well, that's poor. Did he hit the knuckle there? I was busy reading the chat. He must have hit the knuckle. Well, he scratched as well. So here we go. Commentator's curse. 6 racks all.
Did anybody watch that shot that I missed by reading the chat? Did Dirties hit that middle knuckle? Because if he didn't, it was a really, really poor shot for to leave the cue ball there. He must have hit the knuckle, which nudged him back up the table. So Christian breaking off, and well, we've lost the 5 ball, we've lost the 8, no shot in the 1. And no shot in the 2 either. That was so difficult to get any luck to get on that 2 ball. But perfectly easy safety shot here. A little tickle off the left edge of that 2. And in behind the 9 and 4. But Dirties just went all out for the pot in the 9. When it was much easier to actually just play a half decent safety and lock his opponent up. Well, okay, if it went in, you know, he was a hero, but to me it was a lot easier to play a decent safety. And he's getting a second bite at the cherry straight away with ball in hand. Christian's just sold it. Ball in hand, 2 and 9 for the match. And, well, that's terrible as well. I just think if he took a wee bit longer to get himself set up, use that shot clock, he would have had the match over. And I'll tell you what now, I bet you Dirties doesn't win this. Because you cannot mess with the table. Oh dear, well, Christian is not helping himself or herself. So I think these 2 players could be much better players if they take their time. There's far too much hurriedness, is that the word I'm looking for? Far too much haste, not actually taking enough time to compose themselves and get them set for what they're supposed to be doing here. So Christian's got the chance for the combo. And, well, this is not difficult. This should be in. But again, not getting himself set, not looking at where they're hitting the 4. That's a good pot. Going to need another one though, hampered over the 9 ball. But reasonable amount of top on this cue ball to come back into the table. Cannot underhit this shot. Well, it is awkward over the 9. And I think the 6 ball is blocked by the 7. But again, an easy safety. All you do is you cut that 6 to there to go there. Bring the cue ball there, and if you can, down towards the 9. But there's some people, whenever I watch players of the lower standard, the lower rated players, what baffles me about them is, you know, everybody can pot a ball in virtual pool 4, but what baffles me about these people is the level that they will always remain at when they just don't think about things. I keep going on about it. Every time I watch them, you know, if they put a bit of thought into what they're doing, they'd be far, far better players. And even that shot there, absolute disaster from Dirties. And ball in hand for Christian. I told you he wouldn't win it. And what you do is you make sure you put a wee bit of bottom on it so you don't follow the 9 in. Just stupid things like that. And then, you know, they wonder why they can't get their rating up, can't win more matches. It's things like that that cause it. But anyway, Christian has gone through in the end, 7 racks to 6. And quick look and see how the rest of the matches are going. Well, DG Redu is 5 racks all with Bankster. We'll go in and have a quick look at that one. The Spectre Dawn LS3 match will be still there for us. So in this match, we've got a scratch match between DJ Redo and Bankster. Very little between the two of them. And Bankster here has a thin cut in the two. Now again, make sure there's enough pace to get the two into the pocket. Well, he's had a blast at the 2-9. And I don't know why. I don't know what people are thinking about trying to do desperate shots when the table's there. You know, the balls are all there for the taking. Cut the 2, leave yourself a shot in the 3. 4's in the middle of the table, 5's down the rail, 6 in the middle of the table, 7's in the, you know, well off the rail, 8's well off the rail, and the 9's, you know, over the top pocket. So DJ Redo should be out. I think this might be just too much angle on it to just roll through, so that's a good shot. And now, if you just look at where the 6 ball is, just make sure you roll through far enough so that you're looking at the 6 into that corner pocket, because that's the easiest way you're going to get the 7. This is where he should be looking in a minute or two. Yeah. And I would just stun that 6 in so the cue ball doesn't run anywhere, because it's an easy enough cut in the 7 to leave yourself on the 8. You don't want to be running forward. It looks as if he's, well, you know, he's decided to just stun it in. Well, that's awful. That is really poor, I'm afraid. Didn't have to hit that, anything like that. Just a normal stun, and you're on the 7. And that's how you throw racks away when you're not in full control of what your thought processes should be. And Bankster with a cut, and then goes the 9. And Bankster on the hill, and DJ Redo threw that rack away. And Bankster, couple of balls in the break, an awkward shot in the 1 to start off with, but if he can get this, he'll be on the 2. Just got to control the cue ball. Don't let it squirt away. It needs a little draw off this 2, off this 1. What did you guys think of my my theory I was talking about in that video I posted? Did any of you watch it? I take it you understand what I was talking about. To give players a choice with their viewing angle, rather than having to set their viewing angle every time, because as I mentioned, in real life older players tend to stand at the table in pool, so they've got a much higher view angle at the cue ball than a lot of other younger players. And I think that if you have the save zoom feature, I think the save zoom feature needs another algorithm in it to allow you to save the zoom not only between the cue ball and how far you look down your shaft at the cue ball, but also the elevation angle of the cue stick, of your vision as you're looking down the cue, a bit like in shooter's pool. So you can then choose your own and save it, and every time you come to the table, you'll be at the same angle, unless you're obviously hooked, you know, Chinese snookered over a ball or something like that. If you haven't seen it, go and look at it when you've got time at some point. You'll understand what I'm talking about, I hope. So, this match could go either way. DJ Radu blew his chances. He's having a blast again. Everything's getting hit far too hard. This is what... this is people just not applying themselves properly to play the game. You don't bang balls like that. It's not going to get you anywhere. And that's going to end up reasonably safe. Well, the safe shot here is just to cut that one and come back across behind the three if you can, but you might leave a combo. Well, he's went for the reverse bank. And now, is he going to have a blast on this too as well? Because he doesn't need to, he just needs to cut it in, and the cue ball will do the rest. It will come out into the middle of the table, and he'll be on the three. And he's not got there, but he got the second part right this time. And these are the hardest shots in the game. I don't care what anybody says. Trying to judge the draw off this two, or pinch the angle off the rail and kick the two in, is so difficult to judge. See, that needed to come out into the table another 5 or 6 inches to the right. They are very, very difficult to judge. But a good recovery shot, and Bankster is going to have his chance here to seal the deal. And that's not a bad shot either. If it just gets there, that's pretty good. Now, can he just play a little draggy draw shot, come out into the table, get nice on that 7? That's pretty good. Now, of course, it looks so easy to get from the 8 to the 9. Big, wide open spaces. Oh, there's the cue ball going. Oh, it's going in, is it? Oh! Well, the angle he's got here, he's going to finish on the short side of the 9, and he's in danger of scratching off this 8 ball. Top right hand corner pocket here. And you can't really fall short in this 9 because it then leaves you an awkward cut. He's got to get there, but it's a danger with that top right hand corner pocket. And well, he's tried to hold it from the left side, and in doing that he's missed the 8. Now, DJ Redo can come down the left hand side, and he's going to fall under the 9, or is he going to go square? Well, it is a cut back, and so easy to push these to the jaw on the top rail, and it will just hang. But this to square the match, and that's exactly what he's done. So easy to do, and this time, well, I don't think Bankster could miss this. Plenty of room. So Bankster is through by 7 racks to 5. Quick look at the bracket, and we'll see that Spectre Dawn and LS3 are well underway. It's 2-1 to LS3. We'll drop into that match, and LS3 is getting the 8 ball as we thought. And Spectre Dawn, though, at the table, 8 ball hanging over the pocket. And of course LS3, if she could have managed to nudge anything onto that 8, the rack would be over, but I don't think she's going to get the chance. Well, this just looks like dropping the cue ball onto that 8 dead weight, and just maybe a tiny tad and a little tiny feathery spin just to come down, and it's going to be all square. Have you ever looked at that, I don't know whether Larry's playing or whether he's still watching, but have you ever looked at that billiard channel website, Larry? You'll know more about them than me, because it's probably based, well, it'll be based in the States, but I said earlier on, I went to their Facebook page. It doesn't seem to get updated an awful lot, the Facebook page, which suggests that there's not an awful lot of activity going, so I don't know. In fact, the other thing I mentioned as well is there's absolutely no mention of Virtual Pool 4 on their Facebook page, that they've got any connection with Virtual Pool 4 as a sponsor, even punting the game. Well, exactly like that. Now, what about this 2-9 that Spectre Dawn's eyeing up? It looks pretty good to me. It might go to the jaw. Yeah, it just went in off the edge of the jaw there. And that's a quick start. It's now 3-2 to Spectre Dawn. And the break is dry, and well, reverse bank is pretty much guaranteed here for LS3. 2-ball wide open in the middle of the table. You just got to make sure the cue ball's not running away anywhere. Maybe a wee bit of check the cue ball would help the cue ball stay up the top end. You've got to play full-blooded for the reverse bank, but the cue ball is running. And it's going to be awkward. But the 3-ball does go. So this is a pressure shot in the 2. It's a good shot. Not easy to judge those potting angles. And if this has got a slight angle on it, in fact, the other problem is she's right on the rail more or less. Going to run into the 9 here probably. That could muck it up. So she's done everything to avoid it, but of course that then means that it's not going to go ideal on the 4. It's another awkward cut. And got to keep a hold of the cue ball. If you hit this plain ball, you're in danger of scratching in the top right hand corner again. Yeah, it is difficult. Here's the 4 finishing. It's wide open, and that may well be LS3's chance gone in this rack. Cue ball's going to get there. So, looks as if, let's have a look at the angle. Oh, you can draw off that 5, go over for the 6, and then drop behind the 7. He's played the draw. Still gets there. Not all easy from here on in by the look of it. And just a plain ball pot, I would imagine, as long as you get high enough on the 8. So Spectre Dawn is going to get that 2-rack gap and has not been pushed in any of these matches so far. Six ball, 1 ball, and a shot in the 2. I don't know how much hampered he's going to be. I think, he's going for the cut because he'd have been right over the 5. And that just needs to bounce. That will do nicely, and this rack is over. So LS3 is going to be trailing by 3. And when you're now trailing by 3, and of course the match is not within your control at all, because it's just you're sitting there just praying that he doesn't get a ball in the break, and praying that you at least have a shot. And has LS3 prayers been answered? Well, in a way, yes, because the break's dry. LS3's got a shot in the 1, and may well be able to miss that 9 and go between the 9 and the 3 and come down between the 4 and the 5 here off this shot. It looks like it. The pot off the rail that way and down to like there. Needs a bit more juice on it. Needs to avoid the knuckle, and that's the only thing that scuppered the shot there. The idea was right. So it's another tough cut in the 2. And I think LS3, I'm assuming she played the safety there. Which, if she did, was the right thing to do when you've got cover that you can easily get behind. Might get another bite at the cherry here. Well, this is why you have to focus. I mean, if you're in against somebody that you know can pop balls and knows what they're doing, then the onus is on you not to give them those easy opportunities and to take the chances when you've got them. Those other 2 guys that we watched, on occasions they'll do that. Who was it? DJ Redo and whoever it was that was playing, but most of the time they were playing far too quick and also weren't really thinking about what they were doing. And if you get against an opponent like that, you're going to get plenty of chances. Whereas if you're on the receiving end, and you know that Spectre Dawn is going to pretty much take any easy chances you give them, then it really should make you play better and think more. LS3's capable of that. Now this is awkward because of where the 4 is. I don't know whether can she see enough of this. This is tight. This is extremely tight. Yeah, that is not a guarantee that she can get there. Now, what the hell's happened here? Have we lost connection here? I think now I'm either out of sync or LS3's disconnected. One of the 2. And well, I'll wait and see what happens. But I think that she's gone. In fact, on her computer, she's probably played this shot, and then from what I've seen, when she comes back, she may well have to play the same shot again. And Larry has won his first match in the 1-loss side. He beats SD92 by 4 racks to 1. And LS3 has gone. So we wait. And she's now arrived. She's probably going to say that she's already played this shot. But anyway, it's extremely tight, this sport. Yeah, in fact, it was too tight. And how's her luck? Not very good, I'm afraid. Yeah, see, there you go. Told you. Played that shot twice and missed it twice. So she'd already played it before she'd actually disconnected. And then when she gets back, she has to play it again and still missed. Yeah, it was very, very tight. Couldn't really get there. Oh well, Spectre Dawn, believe it or not, has made a mistake in getting up that table. And LS3, well, you're not going to get a better chance than this. Don't hook yourself behind the 8. Whatever you do, the cue ball's going over to the right. And you're going to have to play another good shot to get on the 7. Good evening, Semi-Pro. Welcome aboard. Well, in goes the 6. Now this 7, let's have a quick look at that. Well, that's another one that is nailed to the rail. This is another testy one. Yeah, you see how difficult they are. That's how difficult they are. And, well, we've yet to see Spectre Dawn break sweat in a match. He's getting away with it. He's made the mistake, but he wasn't punished because that 7 ball was always going to be awkward if he couldn't get really good on it. And he's on the hill as well in this match. So Spectre Dawn breaks off, and again it's a dry break, and again LS3 has got a wide open table. Even I could run this table. That's how easy this is. Not a problem with any ball. Join the dots. That's actually not a bad shot there. That little draw, it just means that the cue ball's not travelling as far. Now there's a problem. Dead straight in the 5. Now you've got to take your medicine. It's probably easier just to roll through far enough so that you can see the 6. And that was a sensible shot to do. Not to try do something skillful that draw up the table and do what Larry did and draw into the pocket. It's much easier to do this and just use the angle that you've got to get up the table for the 7 and not too high. Now you see that's now got a problem. This is where your problems start, when you end up getting too much angle in a ball and the cue ball has to start running, because then you've got to start looking at where this cue ball's going. The safest shot here is to stun this firm and make sure the cue ball comes up the table. Anywhere up the table here will give us sight in the 8. Ideally down this right hand side, so it opens up the 8 ball. Well, it looks as if she's going with top. And that was not a great shot. Again, put so much
pressure on this 8-ball and then still got to have a shot in the 9. That isn't the shot I would have played. It's a roundabout way of getting there, but oh, mind if you're forgetting she was only needing the 8. That's right. Ball handicap. Well, this time LS3's in the same boat. Can't get a ball in the break. I couldn't even spell run. Well, not nowadays, no. Severe lack of confidence at the table now. The amount of table time I get. So Spectre Dawn leads by 3. Needs this rack to pretty much sail through this tournament so far. Did you understand what I was talking about, Larry? Now you do appreciate that a lot of older players stand above the cue stick. They don't, you know, their backs are that bad they can't get down the cue. Well, you see, you're giving the exact same answer I expected Steve to say, but if you go to shooter's pool, I think most, if not all, get down as low as possible. You shoot. You think that's what they do in virtual pool 4, right? Well, I personally don't think they do, because you've got to see the angle that you're shooting at. But what I'm getting at is that in shooter's pool, the tendency for most virtual pool 4 players is to try and go lower, but they can't. But why not give people that choice though? That's my only argument about it. But the difference is, if you play snooker in real life, you do play in a disciplined manner. You do put your chin down in the cue. Well, Spectre Dawn cruises through 7 racks to 3. Right, let's have a quick look at the bracket and see how things are going. I just think people should be given the choice to do things like that and set something, because he's taken away the jump cue guide, which if people are coming from offline and they come online and they see they don't have the cue angle guide, you know, the game's a lot more harder online. And that's not how shooters pool do it. And then we wonder why they've got more people in there than us. We have to do something to make it more attractive for people to come online. That's probably one reason as well. So Spectre Dawn is through. Bankster is in the middle of a match against Christian, and Bankster is 5-2 up. Let's have a look at the one loss side. We saw Larry's result come through, and well, he's waiting on somebody to come through from the winner's side, as is Sylvia and DJ Redo. Oh, tell a lie, they're at 3 racks all. Let's go through. Let's see the end of this match. You don't mean the W key, Larry? You're talking about the V key. Not the walkback, key, or whatever he calls it. So DJ Redo has this match all but won.
Just a 9 ball to drop in to carry on in the one loss side. So Sylvia's participation in the tournament is over, and TG Redo is now through to play LS3, and meanwhile, if I can get this bracket to work, Spectre Dawn is waiting on the winner of Bankster and Christian, and we'll go in and see how this match is panning out. Well, it's 3-0 to Christian, and Christian is getting the 5 ball. So he's not getting 5 and out, he's getting the 5 ball as the money ball. And it looks to me that he's been given, well, my interpretation of this score at the moment is he's been given enough chances to pot balls to get to the 5. Well, what am I talking about? I'm saying 3-0. My eyes have gone. It's that time of night, folks. It's 6-3 to Bankster, and we're back to the banging pairs here. Well, that's a good shot, especially with the 2 balls going in. So pot the 3, cue ball's going to come over to the left for the 4, get it as close to the rail as you can, makes the 4 all the easier, and then an easy enough 5 ball, and Bankster should be home and dry, but he's got to get from the 6 to the 8, and that could be the stumbling block. And then obviously from the 8 to the 9. Or do you think I jinxed you joining the room again? You think that's what happened? Because that's what usually happens. That's going to finish in the middle of the table. Well, this looks as if Bankster's going for the cut here rather than the bank. If you go for the bank, you've got 2 chances of it going in. I think that's what I would have done. And, well, Christian, obviously now with the 5 ball having gone, has to pot the 8 and the 9. The reverse bank is good. That's going to hit the jaw in the middle pocket. And once again, Bankster has got another chance, but he's dead straight on the 8. Well, he's got a slight angle, but he's going to have to work the cue ball to get out. And is that going to slow up? And this to seal the match. Well, the good news for Bankster is he's won the match by 7 racks to 3. The bad news is that he's going to be playing Spectre Dawn next, and he's going to be getting a handicap, and he's going to have to use it if he gets a chance. But he's only going to do that by common sense and thinking about what you're doing. If he starts banging about the place, then he can forget it, because he's just going to get picked off. So we'll drop in. Now, what's Bankster on? He's in 2,099. He's going to get like, he may well get the 7 ball, something like that. I would reckon the 7 ball would be the handicap, not 7 and out. $2,022, and what's Spectre on? 2,300. No, he could well get 7 and out, now that I think about it. You reckon just the 7 ball? I think if Spectre Dawn's at 2,300 odd, I think it could be 7 and out. let's see who's right. I'm not very often wrong. You know that. Ah, so you've went back at your choice, have you?
Whoa.
Well, here we go. Both players in the room. And Spectre Dawn is nearest us, from what I can remember from the colour of the queue. And Spectre Dawn is going to win the lag. And, well, would you believe it? The two of us are wrong. Spectre Dawn is giving away the 5 ball to Bankster. And I'll tell you something, he's not going to have a better chance at taking Spectre Dawn out than getting the 5 ball. I mean, that's not a lot of balls to pot by the time he gets to the table, because Spectre Dawn's got no shot here. And, well, let's put it this way. If Bankster doesn't get the 1 safe here, he's pretty much lost the first rack. Got to get covered behind the 2. It's got to get there. And that's not bad, although it's an easy enough jump. The cue ball spins out behind a 5. Now, does he want to risk trying to get behind the 4? Or is he going to dig deep? I think he's digging deep here to avoid running behind. No, he's running behind. He's managed to avoid it. Good shot. So we're already 95 minutes into tonight's tournament, and it's certainly not going to be that long a tournament. Bearing in mind we didn't have the full quota in. So Spectre Dawn continues from where he left off. 1-0 up with the break. And the break is dry, and certainly, you know, you come to the table getting a 5 ball. If you look at the table, you have a shot in the 1, but you're going to have no shot in the 2. So there's balls there for cover. So you should be immediately thinking about a good safety here off this 2 ball. And that's not quite as well. It is. He could just roll through the 2 and hold behind the 4. Just nudge it to the rail. You know, that's just a simple, sensible shot. Nothing wrong with that at all. The Spectre Dawn can play it with a bit of a surety in terms of not leaving an easy out to the 5, because the 5 is down here at the bottom of the table. And what's more, he's got Bankster in trouble. But the one thing in Bankster's favour is that that 4 is very adjacent to the 5. And that is a damn good shot. Now he's got to back that up. And the problem is, he's got to judge the draw here with this shot. And that's a well-controlled draw. That is pretty good. Bit high in angle in the 4, and he's awkward over the 7. But you want to play this with a bit of inside, unless you're trying to sneak behind the 8 and 9. You see he's had a blast again. He's trying to create something out of nothing when the ball was there. It may well have had to been played with a bit of inside right, which was not easy, bearing in mind where he was sat. But he's had another bang at it. And he's got away with it this time. But not this time with Spectre Dawn's shot. Got Bankster out with the jump stick again, no doubt. But only has to get lucky here by potting the 4 and having a shot in the 5. Just needs a bit of luck. Oh, and this time it's hanging. And it's another tough shot here for Spectre Dawn. Now, does he want to leave the dirt? Just drop it in. I don't even think he needed to do that. Well, he's taking it long anyway. He's going to be running over towards the middle pocket. And it should be 2-0. Well, Larry's in the one-loss side, and the main thing that Larry has to fear is giving away big handicaps to those he meets on that side of the tournament. Because I think the only real threat, from what I can see, is LS3. But is she still in the tournament? I've forgotten already. Hang on a minute. What's happening? Yeah, LS3 is 1-1 with DJ Readout. And of course, Larry straight away has given 5 and out, or 6 and out, to Christian on that one-loss side, and it's 1 rack all at the moment. Now, I'm going to mute my mic. I can find the button. Well, this is thin cut in the 4, going to run into the 7, and the 5 doesn't go past the 8. But he's drawn off it to avoid it, trying to come in between them. He's managed to run into it, so is he looking, what sort of shot can he try and get here? He can't get the bank. And again, sensible enough shot. Just force your opponent into doing something daft. Well, I'd be trying to just skim off that 5 and getting away from it rather than leaving it close. Because we could be here all night doing this. So somebody's going to have to grab the bull by the horns. Or as Ken Doherty said, grab the bull by the scruff of the neck. So Spectre Dawn's got the distance. Now Bankster will just roll straight up onto the 5 again. Now is not the time to make the wrong choice of shot. But Spectre Dawn will maybe try and improve the situation by sending that 5 ball somewhere else and trying to keep the distance
between it and the cue ball. Somebody's got to take the initiative, and the onus is really on Spectre Dawn to do that, unless he wants this match just to drag on. Bankster's probably not going to do anything. So for Spectre Dawn to get this match moving, it's him that may well have to take the initiative and get away from that 5 and leave it difficult for Bankster, and then just pounce when he makes a mistake. Well, if I'll give you an example. The shot that Spectre Dawn's got here, he could easily go there and bring the cue ball over to here, and that way it stops you playing the roll up to the 5. So you've got to leave an awkward angle. That's what I'm getting at. And there's the opportunity to do that so that it stops Bankster just rolling up to the cue ball, up to the 5 like that. Now, once again, Spectre Dawn should be doing this. It should be pushing the 5 to there and going to here. It's going to leave an awkward cut, and it's going to force Bankster into doing something. And, well, Spectre Dawn's done the right thing. And what's more, he's pretty much got cover on the 5. Okay, he can see the 5, but he can't do much with it. And as soon as you then change that angle, it prevents the opponent from doing what he's been doing for the last 5 minutes. And now the game's opened up. That's how you can take the initiative that way, by preventing the player from doing the same shot. But having said that, though, Bankster's come up with a good reply, although Spectre Dawn will jump and try and cut that into the middle. I think there's enough room for him to have a go at it. Well, he didn't leave much of a bank on there, because I don't think Bankster could see enough of that 5 ball to make the bank. That 7 ball was obscuring a bit of the 5. And Spectre Dawn gets a jump escape and the pot, and he's landing nicely on the 7. And he's going to be 3-0 up. Well, this has been a breeze so far for Spectre Dawn. Not broken sweat all night. And that's our new billiard channel sponsor. And Bankster's got lucky there. And Bankster only has to get to the 5 ball. But is he going to be capable of doing that if he gets a chance off this? Cue ball squeezes between the 5 and 6, runs into the 4 and blocks Bankster off behind the 5. And this is a long jump. You certainly can jump this. You just need to keep that shaft a little bit lower. And once again, Bankster 100 miles an hour to play the shot, taking no time over it. I'll tell you, if he comes into this chat after this match, I'll be having a go at him. Got to slow down and take your time. I keep asking myself, what's the hurry? You've got a shot clock, at least use it to get yourself set to play the shot, rather than racing in. It seems as if it's desperate to get the shot over, rather than actually focus on setting it up right. That cue angle wasn't a low enough elevation. You need to be lower elevated to get the cue ball to go further on the jump. The jump will be lower, but the cue balls get further to travel to go over the object ball. So in that case, you have to lower the butt of the cue. But he just had a go at it and did not set himself. And meanwhile, Spectre Dawn, a little bit of a tester to get good on this 4. He's going to have to play it from distance. But it's a simple enough shot now. Just drop it in. And if he can get straight or straightish on this 5, he can just stop for the 6. And in fact, he can draw back for a couple inches. Make it a wee bit simpler into this bottom right hand corner pocket. Is he running forward? It looks as if he might be running forward. Yes, he is. Now, while that's happening, let's have a quick look at the scores. Well, Larry's 2-1 up against Christian. And DJ Redo is 3. What's that score there? 3-2 to LS3. And Bankster, the 5 ball having gone, is going to have to run these out. Needs to watch he doesn't get a lot of draw in this. And he's played that one well. And so, barring some almighty mess here, Bankster should be off the mark. Is he? Is it my eyes? Yeah, right enough, it is my eyes. 3-2 to Christian. And that's the perils of giving away like 6 and out. And DJ Redo and LS3, the results through. LS3 wins by 4 racks to 2. Now, it's 3-1 here to Spectre Dawn. Let's just jump into the Larry match and see if we can jinx him. But Larry is taking it all the way into a final rack decider. And the 2 ball has dropped, but the 1 ball's been pushed safe. Now Larry surely isn't going to stick his neck out here and have a cut at this one. Yeah, he's done the right thing. Now, Christian getting 6 and out. That is perilous for Larry. He cannot afford to give Christian a start by leaving him anything on, because all the balls are wide open. The only awkward thing is having potted the 1, it's going to be difficult for Christian to get good in the 3. Should he get that chance. And he won't be, because Larry is going to have ball in hand, and Larry's got the same problem. This is not easy to get to. Now, is Larry going to leave a high cut on this 3, or is he going to try and get down the table? It looks as if he's going to try and come across between the 9 and 4. Is he going to get there? Well, that's not bad, because he doesn't have to do anything with the cue ball other than pot the 3, so it's full focus on the 3 ball. He's going to have a shot in the 4. Doesn't have to worry about the 4. It's just all on the pot. And then just stun the cue ball stone dead. Drop the 5 in. This is what join the dots is all about. Just a little roll through in the 6. And don't finish dead straight in the 7. Some sort of angle. Killing the cue ball or leaving it sort of where the 6 is would be ideal. And now, if he can get straight on this 8 ball so that he doesn't have to run the cue ball, then it would be a simple out. And that will do, because all he needs to do now is make sure he doesn't rattle it in the jaws and kill the cue ball again for the 9 into the opposite pocket. So Larry is going to go through by the odd rack. And he can breathe a sigh of relief, because that's one obstacle you have to get through when you're giving away that hefty handicap. So now, Larry is going to be playing LS3, and then of course the winner of that match will play the loser of the match that is going on that winner's side. And that is the match that we were watching a few minutes ago. Spectre Don and Bankster, and Spectre Don now 4 racks to 1 up, and he's hooked. No, he isn't hooked. I thought he was on the 3. He's on the 1, and that 3 and 7 are a combo, so he doesn't need to disturb anything, just needs to pot the 2. The 7's going in every day of the week. Now, is he looking at the 5 though? He might be looking at that 5 ball as well. And this cue ball has to come off the rail, because that 3 ball's going to sort of stun. And now is a bit more of an accurate shot to make sure he doesn't leave himself short on this 4. He could be blocked out with the 5 and 9. He's put a lot of inside on it, and he hasn't got there, and that was always going to be the problem. The inside English is checked to cue ball up, but it's also taken the pace off it. And now he's going to have to kick and hope. Good evening, Popman. Well, we're getting to the business end of the tournament. Just coming up, well, 5 or 6 minutes short of 2 hours. Spectre Don has played a nice little kick on the 4. The 9 doesn't go. So now, what's he going to do? Try and leave the 5 there and just run up the table. Because there's a danger, if he leaves a shot for Bankster, he could knock that 5 ball onto the 9. So he's got to be careful that he doesn't leave this 9 hanging here, Spectre Don. This is a bit tricky. And he's played it well. Got the 9 ball away from the danger. That was not easy. And, well, I think that's Bankster's last shot in this rack. And I notice Stubb is keeping well away from the Friday night 9 ball now. He's had too many disappointments giving away that handicap. That cue ball is threatening to go, but it's going to stay up. I noticed Stubb's been in the lobby for about the last 3 or 4 days, and not a word out of him. Not a single word. Been constantly in the lobby, because I've been off all week. I've been watching. So, 5-1 to Spectre Don. The break is dry. A shot for Bankster on the 1. Now he needs to come across the table twice here. Cut the 1 over to the right side, back over to the left, and a bounce would be nice. That looks a good pace. And a simple roll in on the 2. Make sure you just go through far enough on the 3. Ideally, you want to be the bottom side of the 3, and there's a mistake straight away. A simple shot like that, he had to get the cue ball to here, and now he's running up the table. Simple shots like that are what cause runs to go askew very easily. Now the only lifesaver here for Spectre Dawn. Well, tell a lie, he's on the 5 ball, isn't he? I've just forgotten about the handicap again. So Bankster back to within 3. Break is dry. 6 and 9 are locked up. But that 7 isn't easy to get to either. But I think that Spectre Dawn won't be too worried, because the one thing's for certain, that if he can't get a breakout on those 3 balls down the bottom corner here, he'll certainly put Bankster in trouble. No doubt about that. But he'll be looking to have some shot either, more than likely off the 4, to try and break them. But the problem again though is that if he does that off the 4, he can't get a good shot in the 5, because the 5's blocked with the 8. So this is pretty much up in the air, this rack. There's nothing obvious here in what can happen. Now, what angles he got in the 3? Not much. So we know that the 5 ball doesn't go. So Spectre Dawn's had a blast to try and create something out of nothing. It was never going to happen. And now what Bankster needs to do is not do anything that's going to break out that 6 and 7 and 9, because he doesn't need them. He doesn't want to put the cue ball or any object ball near them. And he might as well have a cut across the table on this 5. This for the rack. And that 5 ball shouldn't be going anywhere near those balls down the bottom of the table if he misses it. And now, Spectre Dawn though has been given his opportunity to pot the 5 and get the breakout. Perfect angle to do it. Needs a bit of luck though to still have a shot. But he won't get a better opportunity than this. Well, that's not too bad. He's going to be running over to the left-hand side near the 8 ball, but he'll leave a high cut on the 7, but he should be fine. Doesn't need to blast this in, he just needs to run it. Cue ball's going to come out, and that will do. And so, well, it's again not a gimme. I think he can draw. He can still draw off this 8 and come across to the right. He's went the safest route. Safest route is doing that rather than drawing to the right, because there's always the danger of the middle pocket. And he's got the pace pretty much perfect. Well, there's no stopping Spectre Dawn tonight so far. Nobody's even came close to threatening him at all. And he's got a ball in the break. He's got a shot in the 1. And, well, I'll stick my neck out. This rack's over and this match is over. There's not a problem in the table. It's all too easy. But it's not going to be done when he does something like that. He had nothing in the cue ball there to create the angle. So all he's done is come off the top rail and stun straight down onto the 2. That's a poor shot. Well, if only Bankster could see more of this 2 ball, he could actually stun it up the table and drop in behind one of those balls up there. But he's not quite able to see enough of it. But he's trying to get the thin edge. Got that a bit too thick, but he's got it safe. Now, the way this table is going to be a tall order for Bankster to win this rack to stay in the match. And the main reason for that is, if you notice, Bankster's 5-ball has gone. So he's going to have to run out the table if he's going to win this rack. And I would say he's got a fairly slim chance of doing that, considering Spectre Dawn's at the table. Okay, he's had to jump out of that snooker, but look where he's left. The running is going with Spectre Dawn. And this might be Bankster's last shot if he can't get a hit and get it safe. Well, he's got the hit. Tall order to get it safe though. Has he gone behind the 3? Yes, he has. So again, not a difficult escape for Spectre Dawn. But the cue ball's going to be down this bottom end of the table here. And he's going to be left with a tough 3 or a fairly easy safety shot in that 3 ball. And once again, he's got it safe now. I reckon Bankster's going to have a blast here on this 2-9. He's going to give it a belt. He might as well. He's pretty much down and out, so he might as well have a blast. Oh, would you believe it? He's got away with it again, I think. Well, that 2 does cut, but it's not easy. And, well, I don't think Spectre Dawn will be refusing this opportunity. He'll have a go at it. Yeah, it wasn't an easy shot. But Bankster's got his chance. And, well, it's tough, isn't it? Thin cut, cue ball bouncing across the table, backward and forward. No guarantee he's going to have any shot, but that kiss is done very nicely now. Can he back this up? Take his time and at least do something here to try and get out. He didn't have to do that because now he's left a billiard on the 4-6. That's what he should be playing. The little stun billiard onto the 6. And he's missed the 6. And well, it's just gone a wee bit awkward, but there shouldn't be a problem. Just a little billiard as well from Spectre Dawn. And this match is over now. It's been a breeze for Spectre Dawn this tournament tonight. Under absolutely no pressure whatsoever. He's had the running as well. But you make the most of it. I mean, the players that could threaten him are the ones that are getting a decent handicap, but they're not taking any opportunities, and they're not getting many. That's the other reason. And Spectre Dawn has breezed through to the final, as far as I can see. At least I think that was a hot seat match, wasn't it? Pretty certain it was. I'll have a look in a sec. But we don't have an awful lot of time to look because we'll have to nip over to that one-loss side and see how things are doing there. Let's have a look. So, if we nip across, we can see that Spectre Dawn is high and dry in tonight's final, and he's waiting on who's going to turn up from this one-loss side. And we'll go straight in to the Larry LS3 matches. 2 racks all. Race to 4, remember, the one-loss side. And look at this table. These balls they're perfect. And LS3, well, if she's going to take this opportunity, going to have to jump the 5 and hope she gets good in the 2. And if she does, she should be out. Needs to kiss the 9. That will do it. So still in play. And this is another shot where you're in between and thinking what to do. There's slightly the wrong angle in the 2. She's managed just to stun and draw it back slightly, but the angle is perfect for getting on the 4. So once again, it's all about the pot. The cue ball's going in the right direction for the 4. Left rail, right rail. Now, this is where you've just got to dig down into this 4 a wee bit. You don't want it to run through behind the 6 and 5. Or behind the 6, I should say, for the 5. So, everything's going okay so far. In fact, the other thing I forgot to mention is that LS3 only needs to the 8 ball, so just the 6, 7, and then the 8 to take LS3 to the hill. And we've been on the air for 2 hours and 7 minutes tonight, so it's not going to be a 4-hour marathon when there's a full field in it. So just roll in the 8 and she's 1 away. And of course, just when you want a ball in the break, nothing happens. And Larry comes to the table with a shot in the 1, a shot in the 2 to get up for the 3. But look at this 5-6. That's the one that's going to scupper his chances of running out. And what's more, the problem with that 5 and 6 is that the 4 ball's up the table. Now, if Larry got to here on the 4 ball like that, he can run off the rail there and try and come down and hit these either off the rail like that. But he can't do that if he can't pot the 2 and get that far. Again, he was trying to force the cue ball up the table. But once you put too much power on it and hit those jaws, they don't go in. The 2-7 combo keeps the 2 in play, but LS3's got the same problem. But that 4 ball will give LS3 a chance if she can get good on it, just to get a hit on this 5 and 6. Now, anything but hooking yourself behind the 8. And she's got the perfect angle to come up onto this 4. Somewhere about there, maybe even there, to actually come off the rail, maybe 1 or 2 rails, possibly 3, but just to get some sort of nudge on this 5 and 6. But she's trying it a different way, and well, this needs to be played with inside left English, I think, if she can get the angle. Looking at it, the potting angle's taking the cue ball that way, but you need inside left so that when you hit the rail, it punches the cue ball towards those 2 balls. But she's not seen it that way. I think it's too much of a pot angle in the 4. That's the issue. And the worst thing she'll do here is open the 5 and 6. But no, she played a good safety. That's what the doctor ordered. And of course, Larry, exactly the same problem. He doesn't want to hit this 5 and 6 by mistake. That's the worst thing he could do. There's a cue ball going though. He's okay. Now LS3 could be brave here. Just try and cut that 4 off the side rail and bring the cue ball down the table and get distance between the 2 of them. That's a bit better. Well, that could be the fatal move because Larry can pot the 4. He can run off the rail. There's enough angle just to run off that rail and clip one of these balls. Now, there's a danger of a scratch here doing this, but he's going to have to take the risk. He could easily brush off one of these balls and scratch off this, playing this 4 ball the way I'm describing. Run off the rail, hit them. He could skim them and just run in. But he's got to take that risk. Well, he's avoided it. He's got the hit. And, well, it's tight, isn't it, when you're not staring right behind it. This is a toughie. And now, of course, full focus on the pot and the 5. He's left himself extremely awkward on the 6. This is not what you want to stay in the tournament. Still trailing by 1, of course. It's only the race to 4. And got to watch that cue ball in the right middle pocket. Now he's avoided that. He had to take evasive action, but he's missed the 6. So now LS3 just needs to pot the 6, go over to the right hand side, and it's game over. Just the 8 ball for the match. And so LS3 marches on. Larry's time in the tournament is over. Let's have a look. And we'll see that LS3 I should say, is now going to play Bankster. And meanwhile, Spectre Dawn can go and get a coffee. Take a little break. Because we could be another 15-20 minutes for this match to be over. Now it's finally updated. So we wait on the LS3 Bankster room going up. The room is up. We'll dive straight in. Both players are in as well. And well, I don't know who's who because the other queue hasn't appeared yet. That might be Bankster on the far side. Yes, it is Bankster. And well, this time it's Bankster who's getting the 6 ball. Also gets the 7 ball in the break, a shot in the 1. 2 ball hanging over the top corner pocket with the 4 ball very adjacent to it. And of course, in such a short race to 4. Right, good night, Mark. I never noticed that. I don't know when you typed that, but take care. See you later. Thanks for watching. And I think what I'll do is once this match is finished, I'm going to nip down and put the heating off. In fact, I'm not going to wait any longer. It's only the start of this match. I'm getting a bit warm. Back in a minute. Oops. That's the remote control gone. Right, so Bankster at the table. Good effort in the one. And now LS3 has to run out. And the first major problem is getting good in the two, because it's going to have to be a cut in the one. And, well, the pace in that was all wrong. If you'd played the same shot with a lot less pace, the cue ball would have been somewhere here. But the bank is good. Now, what do you do in the four? Do you try and drop this in dead weight, or do you play the sensible shot and go up and down the table, or down and up the table, however you want to describe it? And that's good, as long as it misses a 9. Okay, it's an awkward high cut, but if it ran up the table another couple of feet, it would have been perfect. But at least she can see the 6 ball. And of course cannot leave this hanging, because Bankster will just drop it in and be 2-0 up. So that was a good pressure shot. And again with this shot, make sure the cue ball's in the top half of the table. And that will do. So just to roll in. And we're all square, 1 rack all. I can't remember whether rack money is on this. Let's have a look. Let's have a look and see. I think rack money might be on. Yeah, rack money is on. That's why it's not quite as... we're not seeing quite as many balls in the break. We're seeing quite a few dry breaks. And that's simply because, well, the triangle isn't on the table here, but I'm imagining that the head of the pack is somewhere near that second diamond. Somewhere like that. So what that means is that in the normal course of events, the triangle's there and the 9 ball is in the middle of the pack for the break. But what rack money does is that the rack is moved up the table to there, so that the 9 ball's sitting in the head spot of the rack. And that just changes the angles when you're playing the break shot in terms of where the path of these balls are going. And I think you see less balls in the break when rack money is on. And Friday night 9 ball's been like that for a long time. I think I might even have set that up as that in the tournament. I don't think it's been touched since then. But anyway, we've only got a short race to 4 here. And back to the bracket. And the winner of this match is going to be Spectre Dawn's opponent in the final. Now, as far as LS3 is concerned, LS3 was sent to the one-loss side by Spectre Dawn by 7 racks to 3, and she was getting the 8 ball, so she'll still be getting the 8 ball if she gets the final. Bankster's would get a hefty handicap in his favour, but the question always remains there that would Bankster be good enough to get the balls that he needs in order to get to his money ball, and I think there's a fair bit of doubt in that. And LS3. Plenty of room to get on this 8. Now, you want to make sure that the worst comes to the worst, you end up in the bottom rail here. You don't want to be trying to leave yourself some sort of shot past that 9 ball. You've got to go for the other option and make sure that you take the 9 ball right out of the equation and get right down onto the bottom rail. And she's played the right shot, and that's going to be perfect. Couldn't have asked for anything better than that. A little stun in. Cue ball goes up to the right, or just a roll off the rail, whatever you're comfortable with. The stun shot would have been the right shot, because now she's left herself high in the 9. You've got to be comfortable enough and confident enough to play the little stun. This is a little tester, and of course that's what can always happen. You just push into these jaws. If that touched that jaw, it wouldn't have been in. But anyway, LS3 won't be worrying. She's 2-1 up. And there's such a big difference when we are so used to watching, well, particularly Friday night 9 ball when we watch it or when I'm streaming it. We're so used to watching people for the last couple of weeks, or 2 or 3 weeks, in that Cowboy tournament, the Cowboy World Championship. We're so used to watching balls scratching during that tournament, and also seeing how much the pockets could be cheated in that tournament. And then it's a big shock to the system to come back to this setup with the narrow pockets, where you've got to be a lot more accurate. There's nowhere near the same forgiveness and leeway on getting a ball to a pocket in this table. You hit those points with any reasonable pace on them, they ain't going in. And when you play firm stun shots, if they hit the jaw, they're going to rattle and hang there. They're not going to go anywhere. But Bankster fails in the 5 ball. Can LS3 avoid the 8? Yes, you can. Just a straight draw. Well, this is one of these little draggy draw shots, unless you want to start running the cue ball. Yep, she's running around the angles, got the pace perfect, that will do. And LS3 is going to be 1 away. Big ass for Bankster now. Had his chance there on that 5 ball. Oh, 5 ball kicks in the 1, and well, this is really awkward. Because the 7 ball's locked up, and if she plays the pot in the 2, I don't think there's much she can do to avoid the 7 and 9. So she's going to open up the 7 and 9 and just hope to get lucky. She's playing it with inside to keep the cue ball in the table, and that's why she's missed the 2. And she's left it on. So here's Bankster's chance. All the balls are there. It's just about getting on them, and you only need up to and including the 6. Still a big ask. I don't honestly think there's that much between them, but I think Sylvia tends to have she seems to have a short fuse, like earlier on tonight there when things weren't going very well for her. But I think on the day, I don't think there's very much between the two of them because they know what they're doing. But if you go by the performance in the straight pool tournament, I mean LS3 had a 94 run. Sylvia, I think the best she got, if she was lucky, she got maybe a 30 something, if anything. But a lot of that is down to the cue ball control and playing the right shots to get to that next ball, getting it. So, one away for LS3, but only one behind for Bankster, so still in with a shout here. Yeah, there was almost a sort of resignation that things weren't going to go Sylvia's way in that match that she had. So she was having a blast because she wasn't getting the running, and Spectre Dawn was certainly getting the running, but he was missing very few, as he's been doing all night. He's made the odd mistake, the odd miss here and there, but nobody's been good enough to take the advantage. And LS3 maybe going to have a blast at the 1-9 of the match, and that's a good shot, and it's all over. So LS3 is going to get her chance for revenge, but it's going to be a test because it's a race to 9 the final. She'll be getting the 8 ball, and how many opportunities is she going to get to that 8 ball? That's the question. So we are 2.5 hours into the tournament and we have a final. I'll get myself straight in. Well, this camera's going to go back to the reset position when Spectre Dawn arrives. And that's Spectre Dawn's alarm call to let him know the room is up. Spectre Dawn in no rush to get into the room. He'll be getting the audible alert to let him know the room is up, provided he's sitting in front of his PC.
Well, here we are. Both players finally in the room. And Spectre Dawn is nearest us. And it looks as if LS3 has won it. And that was a poor lag from Spectre Dawn. So LS3 got first go. And remember, she's getting the 8 ball, and would you believe it? Scratch straight off the break. And immediately ball in hand for Spectre Dawn. This is the start that Larry made against Spectre Dawn. And, well, it should be all over this rack already. Not a problem in the table. Well, the only thing that's wrong with that shot is you know, he can just stun behind the 4 along the top rail. Yeah, he's got enough room to get there.
Well, this is going to be the testy one. It's going to have to hit this firm to get the cue ball out and over to the left if he's taking that 8 ball past the 9 this side. Oh, he's managed to hold it, but he's left a high cut and got to watch the pace to stay on the 9. He's quite happy to leave these sort of shots. Just leaves you more work to do, but he's played it well, controlled it well, and 1-0 up already from that scratch and a break from LS3. Yeah, this time, come up dry, and LS3 having a quick look at the table. 1 ball, no problem. I think she can play the little draw or stun across to the right to get on that too. Oh, she's overdone it. She's overcooked it. And that's tough. Well, I think she's going to have to go 2 rails here and leave the high cut in the 3 from that left hand side. Well, she's trying to hold it and held it well. Now, the other issue now, of course, is look at where the 4 ball is. It ain't going anywhere there. I think this is pretty much a hit and hope that you can go up and down the table and try and get a straightish on this 4 to play the combo in the 8. And she's going to go too low again. Well, the combo's still on to a certain extent, but it's by no means anywhere near easy judging anything at this angle. This is not easy at all. And you know that if you miss it, you're more than likely going to leave the run out on. And what's worse than that is getting the combo. And mind you, I forgot she was an 8 ball, wasn't she? Right, so 8 ball's a money ball. I forgot again. I do it every time. And more than once in different matches. So we're all square again. Albanario's decided to wake up, and he's arrived in the lobby. And we've got an immediate 1-9 combo from the ball in the break. The 5 ball is gone. 1-9 combo to jump into the lead. But this time, not quite as good, but it's reasonably safe. And that's not a bad reply. Got good cover, easy jump escape, but there's no real control in what's going to happen with this one ball when it gets hit. I don't know who posted the picture on Facebook, and I don't know whether you've seen it. There's somebody posted a picture on Facebook earlier on that I saw tonight, and it was a picture of Christopher Lloyd and what's his name? What do you call him? Him that played Marty McFly. What's his name again? Jesus, that's terrible. Anyway, there's a picture of the two of them together, and taken in 2021. And I'll tell you, Christopher Lloyd's showing his age now. He's got virtually no hair. Well, he must be well into his 70s, Christopher Lloyd. Well, that's a good shot in the one. Perfect in the two. Now, somebody tell me what his name is if somebody's still there. I think you're the only one that's there, Pot Man. What do you call him? You know what I'm talking about. Back to the Future. What the hell's his name? Oh, that's terrible. That'll bug me for the rest of the night now. Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox. It just came into my head there. Yeah, Michael J. Fox is, is not looking quite as good because of his illness, but I mean that's what 30 odd years or more since he made those films. Doesn't time fly? Yep, he's had that for a good few years. It just doesn't matter how much money you've got, how successful you are, you can come down with anything at any time. And there's a guy that was in the prime of his Hollywood career. Oh, I mean, he's still acting as far as I know. He's been in various things since he got diagnosed with that. But he's never going to be box office again in that respect. And I'm sure there's plenty of roles that he could play which would incorporate that illness that he's got. Well, LS3's got to where she wants to be. She's got the lead. 2 racks to 1, but a long way to go. Race to 9. Spectre on at the table from the dry break. 1 ball is on. 3 and 5 ball hanging over the middle pocket. Well, I say hanging over. Well, that 3 ball's going to have to. It's going to have to probably be a billiard onto the 5, I would think. But Spectre Dodds left himself high and dry here on this 2 ball, and he may well have to play that billiard. If he gets anywhere over here, it'll be the billiard from the 3 onto the 5. 6 ball hanging as well. That's a good shot. Well, it won't be the billiard, it'll be the little cannon, or the little combo, but he's going to have to cut that 3 well away from the 5 for it to drop in. I think if he just hits it straight, it's going to hit the point and stay up. And look at where the 4 is. It's going nowhere. Yep, that's what happens. He had to cut that well away on that 5 ball to just push it in. And he's left LS3 with a chance. Now, obviously has to get a ball to a rail here. Now she could play the draw off the 4 and nudge the 6 in, but there's a danger of drawing the 6 in, the cue ball in, but she potted them both. And now got another awkward cut in the 5. But that cue ball, this has to be probably rolled in dead weight. The cue ball will go between the 7 and 9, and the 7 will be on into this left middle pocket. I think she can avoid hitting the 7. So it's all on the pot. Not too hard. She's overcut it. Again, a blind potting angle, not easy to see. Inspector Dawn with an easy out to square the match. Again, the little draw off the 8. And again, it looks like a dry break. So that rack money, if you're ever setting a challenge room, set it with rack money. It just seems to make it a lot more difficult to get a ball in the break. Oh, by the way, Potman, if you search, if you haven't seen this, you need to go to YouTube. I stumbled across, I don't know how I did, I think I was looking at videos, but I stumbled across Yamaguchi Taru's YouTube channel, and there's a video on it that he made in Shooter's Pool, and I don't know how long ago he made it, but he made it obviously to show the developers the problem with the game. And I think he's playing against himself in a room at 9-ball, and he's breaking off, right? And he breaks off 4 racks in a row from exactly the same position, and exactly the same thing happens. The 9-ball goes into one of the top corner pockets. You want to watch it and see it. You wouldn't believe it until you actually see it. And then I think he has one where the 9-ball doesn't go in, and then he breaks again. I didn't watch the whole video, but he must have kept potting 9-balls in the break in Shooter's Pool. So I don't know how old the video is, and presumably they've done something to actually fix it. Well, if you type in Yama Gucci Taru, it should find it. Well, the 9-balls get in the break, but it will be respotted. And it's 3-2 to LS3. She's on the 1, and well, let's be honest, she should be out here. It's all about getting up to the 3. When you get a chance, do go and look at that video. I mean, when we were testing VP4, Larry was breaking a 9-ball, and the 9-ball was getting in the break in the top right-hand corner pocket more often than not. Or at least the 9 was always tracking towards that corner pocket. And so Steve, he fixed it by changing the rack so that was never ever going to happen. And it certainly made a difference. And I don't know whether Shooter's Pool have ever done that. I presume they have. The video might be 2 or 3 years old now, I don't know. But that was certainly a bug on the break. So LS3 has a very good chance here Oh well, commentator's curse again has done it, trying to get around for the 5, but again she's overhit it, far too heavy. Absolutely nowhere on the 5. She had a chance, a very good chance, to be 2 racks up there. Inspector Don has been left awkward on the 4, and he's looking to avoid hitting the 6 ball. Well, he's gone to cut it the opposite pocket, and he took the much more difficult option, because the 5 does go past the 9, so he played to pot, but extremely difficult. Well, now Spectre Dawn can try and get up by the 8 ball, top end of the table. That's a shot, trying to get it over to that left hand side and get some cover, and that's a good shot. Okay, it's not a snooker, but it is good distance. And LS3 trying to scrape the paint off this 4 ball. And you see he got it far too thick. And that's why a good safety isn't always meant to be a snooker, as long as you can get distance. Did you see it? What are you talking about, sumo wrestlers? Where the hell are you watching that? Oh, is that you did a search for Yamaguchi Taru? There must be a Japanese sumo wrestler by that name then, or something. I don't know. Well, Spectre Dawn, you got it. I think the title of the video is something like "This needs to be fixed." I don't think he's got many videos up there, so you'll easily find it. Have a look at it and watch it from the start. You'll see how many 9 balls he gets in the break. I think there's at least 4 at the start of the video, one after the other. Oh, that's a good pace there. Perfect. And so we are going to be back all square. LS3 could have been 2 racks up, but didn't get good on the ball that mattered to keep the run going. But once again, it's another dry break for Spectre Dawn. And now, can LS3 see that one? Yes, you can, and it will go past the 4. There's plenty of room past it. 2 balls down the bottom of the table though. Oh, she pushed it into the 4 and it still managed to squeeze in. Now again, look at the table. Perfect to run out here. Oh dear. No, you can't do that, I'm afraid. Can't afford to make mistakes like that. Unforced errors are a no-no when you've got a wide open table and you know that Spectre Dawn is in no mood for forgiveness. He's just going to wipe the floor with you. Well, I've been saying this all night. It's been all too easy for Spectre Dawn. Nobody, not a single person has stepped up to the plate and challenged him at all. I mean, fair enough, at the start of this match, LS3 is there or thereabouts, but Spectre Dawn has got himself back into the lead. Now he'll be looking to build on it. But once again, rack money does the job. The break is dry. And each time the LS3s come to the table, every ball has been on from these dry breaks. Yeah, that's pretty much hit and hope, because you're running into the 2, you haven't a clue where it's going to end up. And LS3's got herself in trouble, hooked in the 2. Looking to find an angle to get to that 2, but I don't see it. I don't know whether there's enough. I think the angle's too narrow between the 9 and 4 to get to the 2. And it may well have to be the jump cue and not raise the buck quite as high. Get the amp on and just get the hit. I think that's too high. Yeah, it's too high. You've got to play it at a lower angle in order to get the distance on the cue ball to get over that object ball. So all Spectre Don has to do is just bide his time, and the mistakes will come. And he's got, now this is the difference in this tournament. All of Spectre Don's opponents, when they've had chances with the table open wide, they've found one way or another to get themselves in trouble. And Spectre Don, with ball in hand, is just going to pick his way through these, and he should have his 2-rack gap any minute now. So we are 5 minutes or so away from the 3 hours tonight, which is not too bad, considering the last couple of these I've done when I've had time off has been like 4 and almost 4.5 hours with a full field, pretty much. Now, what's Spectre Don going to do to deal with this 6 ball? Is he going to try and get top side of it? Or is he going to come across and leave as straight as he can? Now he's trying to get top side. I think he's going to be in the corner. Now, has he got enough of that? I think he might have. I think he's just got enough of that 6 to pot it. But he's going to have to run the cue ball. I think he can get it, no problem. Well, he's trying to dig in to draw off it to the right side. He's played it well. So, I don't think there's anybody else still watching this, Popman. You're the only one that's there, but I hope you remember that tomorrow, if you're online, that VP4 will be going down at 12 noon GMT, and it will be down for at least 2 hours for server maintenance, according to the information in the lobby. So it could be 2 hours, it could be 2.5 hours. And the reason I'm saying that is that I don't want messages on Facebook tomorrow asking me, are you in the VP4 lobby and stuff like that? Because that's what I got the last time they did this. But I guarantee I'll get them from somebody. Somebody will send me a message. Anyway, Spectre Don now has the comfort of a 2-rack lead in this race to 9. And he's also got a ball in the break, or a couple of balls in the break. He's on the 4. No problem with the 5. It's going to be from the 6 to the 7, and he should stretch his lead. I was on Skype last night with Mark and DJ Simon, and Skype certainly improved since I was last on it, and I'm talking about 4 or 5 years ago, because when we were on it back then, we had to keep restarting it. It kept kind of locking up. So it's certainly improved. I've also got pretty much what I use from time to time in VP4, XSplit Gamecast. So they've got they've got the background removal for your webcam, which is exactly the same as VCam that I use. It's pretty much probably exactly the same technology. So, Spectre Dawn building up the lead, running away from LS3 and also beginning to get balls in the break. And again, getting a ball, and he's on the one ball. Now, is he straight enough to hold for the two? I think he's overcooked that. I don't know why he didn't try to kill it, because I don't think he can see enough of that. Can he see enough of that to make the pot? It's tight. Oh, he certainly can, but he's pushed it to the jaw. And LS3 is left with nothing, because that won't go. That is far too close and tight to squeeze it in, surely. But played the sensible shot. But Spectre Dawn looking to hide up the table here behind that 7 and 8. Unless can he see enough of that? No, he can't play. No, he can't see the two. Can he see an edge of it? No, he's out of the jump stick. But the cue ball's heading the right direction. Oh, he'll take that every day. That's a good result. But the general idea was right enough to get that cue ball up into the corner. And LS3 in trouble. In trouble because everything is on. If she can't get the hit and get this safe. Oh, that's not bad. But unfortunately, hasn't hit the rail, so it's ball in hand. And, well, I think he can just come back off the two. Go off the rail slightly if he can. Well, I think all of this tournament tonight for Spectre Dawn, he's just been like a predator lying in the bushes and just waiting to strike. And every time he's been pretty much successful because he's not been pushed in any matches all night, right from the start, 3 hours ago now. So it's looking like it's pretty much a given that Spectre Dawn's going to march through this unblemished, basically. Well, this is the one that can go wrong. 9 ball right in the middle of the table, and just so easy to drop below it and end up with a really awkward shot, but he's got the pace pretty much right. And this is going to be for 7-3. And another ball in the break. Now, I think this time though, the 4 ball is blocking the 1, so just to safety. Could obviously call a push out. I don't think anybody's called a push out tonight. Spectre Dawn, yeah, he beat Larry. Larry started off with a scratch. And then it went pretty much downhill from there. And Larry had a couple of draw shots to play with that mouse of his. Got them wrong. Scratched one of them into the pocket. Then overhit the other one by a country mile. And these were wide open chances to run the table. And he blew them. And I still say it's that mouse that does it. Because those type of draw shots, you've just got to get that control right. And I don't think you can do with that mouse, but that's me ranting again. Larry swears by it. So LS3 has as good a chance as she's going to get one back on Spectre Dawn. So, got to finish short on this 4-ball if she's going to get up the middle. She's leaving it long. Now this is where now you've got to be committed. You've got to stun the 4 in to come across here for this 5, because the angle's perfect to do that. You've got to be brave and play it. Now you see, she didn't play the stun, she played the run. And that's what could have happened anyway. The 4-ball could well have still rattled in the pocket, but you have to be brave to play the right shot. Letting that cue ball run is running it well away from the 5. And the chance is gone. And she's just going to be picked clean here by Spectre Dawn. And I think the fat lady has entered the building.
Whoa!
Yep, here she comes. She has entered the building. And Spectre Dawn on the hill. 8 racks to 3. Well, if Spectre Dawn can get this cut in the 2 and get out into the table, he should be home and dry. And he's got the 2. Well, he's just going to be running into the 9, but he's going to be extremely unlucky potting this 3 not to be able to see the 4. Oh, I think the 6-ball has got Spectre Dawn locked out here. He can easily kick the 5, or it might be a lifeline for LS3. But where's this cue ball ended up? Surely not behind the 7. Oh, well, it's managed to squeeze through. And it's last chance saloon for LS3. Oh dear. Well, you've got to be committed and go one way or the other. You've got to overhit that so you run off the rail at the end and come out into the table. And in the end, the chance is gone. Well, the fat lady has now sung. I've just opened the door for LS3. She's got her chance. You've got to, I mean, the worst thing to do was overhit that so the cue ball comes off the end rail and up past the 7 to leave you a cut in the 7, but she did not commit herself to the shot. And this time, it's one more chance at it. Just needs the cut in the 8 ball into the left middle to survive another rack. And can't let the cue ball run loose. It's okay though. So it's back to within 4. And of course now needs a ball and a shot. Let's just experiment a wee bit, seeing as it's the end of the night. Let's try. See if you prefer this one, Popman.
You prefer this one? This is my stub voice.
Or do you prefer this?
That's enough of that.
We're still going on that damn thing. That's a voice mod program. That's what it's called, voice mod. Let me test this one.
Whoa.
Right, that's that one. Then you've got that one when somebody scratches. And then you've got this one when stub appears. Oh, I've got this one as well. This is a weird one. How does that sound? That is Anyway, believe it or not, LS3 back to within 3. But it's looking very much like another dry break. Now, Spectre Dawn, I think, can see this one ball in full, so he can get cover here. He's trying to. Is he going all out for the bank? I was trying to build the 9 in there. Well, the best I can come up with that is the door.
Whoa.
Hang on, I'm in the wrong thingy jigger. Wait a minute. That one. I've also got Stubbs' little brother.
And then I'll get that one. I'll get this one. I really love you. I love you. Can't get rid of that bloody thing. Hang on a minute. Wrong button again.
Right, that's better. That's enough messing about. Anyway.
Well, there's still work to do in this rack. Expected Ron's going to seal the deal. He's going to have to dig into the cue ball to try and stun off the rail, come over towards the 7. Well, he's went behind. Now, is he going too far? He's going too far up the table. But he can still put LS3 in trouble here. He may well be still going all out for the cut in the 3. But he's got a chance to play a half-decent safety. Yep, not hanging about. And of course, he's also, once he pot assists 4 and gets on the 5, if he gets on the 5 good enough, he can pot the 5, get the cue ball into here, either take the 6 into the middle or take it up the table. Oh, he's missed the 4, and LS3 breathes again. Now, is she going to play and take a big risk safety here, or is she just going to try and soft cut it or go for the bank? Because the 4 balls near that middle diamond, it could be a bank or a double bank in this right hand side of the table. But is the cue ball going to be out for a shot in the 5? And the answer is no to both of those questions. She's missed the bank, left the awkward cut for Spectre Dawn. Now, there's a risky shot to play here as a safety. Again, it's cutting the ball to the pocket, but bringing the cue ball right down the bottom of the table like this. But he's got the pot, now needs the luck. And he hasn't got it, but he's going to be able to kick that in, I think. Yep, just a little chip and spin. And he's staying below the 6. And it's going to be a 7-9 combo for the match. By the look of it, I can't see any other options here. He's going to brush off the 8 and go up towards that middle pocket. He needs to go as high as that. In fact, he needs to go further than that to try and get good on the 7. And I think that he has to get top on this to run through. Well, he's not risking it. He's going to leave himself another really tough 7. And he's only these 3 balls away from dominating this tournament from start to finish. And that's not going to go. And once again, LS3 has a chance to get back within 2. Stranger things have happened. Well, Spectre Dawn keeps leaving himself these really awkward shots. You know, you just cannot keep potting balls. You go to the well too often, you're going to come up dry. Well, what LS3 wouldn't give here for a ball to break and an easy combo to win the rack quickly. And I don't think that's going to happen. It's yet another dry one. And I think once again, Spectre Dawn's coming to the table with everything available. Although the 4 ball's awkward, it's blocked by the 9. But he's going to have first go at it. Well, this is the one. I think he might just roll this in and leave the bank in the 4. It looks the simplest shot to play. Rather than trying doing something elaborate here, he's got a very slim chance of getting anywhere near good in that 4. It'd probably be easier to roll that 3 in, leave the bank. Well, I think he's decided he's wanting to try and get as good as he can to play the combo. And that's not bad. So this for the match and the tournament. We'll just have a look at the winnings. And then it goes. So it's all over as quick as that. And Spectre Dawn, well, a wee bit of a scare towards the end, but in the end it was comfortable. 9 racks to 6 against LS3. We'll pop in, have a final look at the bracket. We'll see that 4th place got 145 $. 3rd got 195. That would have been Bankster. So at least he came out with a profit. And then, of course, the runner-up gets 290, and Spectre Dawn runs away with the big purse of 575. So, well, that's it, Popman. I don't think anybody else is here. You're the only person that stayed the distance. That is it for tonight. I'm going for a coffee, watch a wee bit of telly, then head to bed. So until we meet again, wherever that might be, take care, stay safe, wear your mask properly, and keep your distance. And I'll bid you good night, folks. I'll see you again soon.